Ain't no living life semi-pseudo. Ain't no living life semi-pseudo. We going out tonight, when my, you know, ain't no bedtime. You grown, spending them dimes so dumb.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the De'Ara Show. I am your host, De'Ara, and today we are reflecting on HBO's Insecure with Issa Rae, and I'm so excited about this episode. Unfortunately, HBO's Insecure will be ending soon. It will be its last season, and it's only right that we talk about all the things that made us laugh, made us cry. And today we have some special guests, some panelists here, artist Kaidi and Devin.
Hey.
Hi, lady. I'm so glad you're here. It's good to see you. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, we have to jump right in. Like, how do you feel, first of all, about Insecure ending? Do you think it's even the right time?
For Issa as a creative, as a director, as a writer, yes, because she has a lot of other stuff. She's booked and busy, as are a lot of other people. So with respect to that, sure, respect the hustle. But the characters have a lot more life. The characters can go on. But I think it's really like this creative and development team taking control of what is theirs and saying, okay, now let's end this and go to do something different. So.
Well, I think that just the characters, I feel like it was getting too out of hand. So this would be like the perfect time to end on a high so that we still love everyone.
For me, I definitely felt like there was something missing in season 4 that I was like needing. And I wasn't ready to say goodbye, but I could see them giving me what I need in season 5 and being able to say goodbye. I mean, there weren't enough episodes for me all these past seasons. I always wanted more. They left me off with wanting
Not
more.
at all.
Like, okay, what's going to happen? So,
but that's why
let's talk
Go Down
about
as one of the greatest shows.
I mean, it definitely would go down as one of the greatest shows. We can just talk about why that is, why we love Insecure so much. And my main thing is that when did we see such a show with this comedy, with this wit about itself, with this culture that it infused? Right. When have we seen such a show? I mean, to me, it was like the first of its kind for our generation. And I was just so proud to just see Issa's transition from YouTube to HBO. Are you serious? What do you think about the highlights of the show? Like Issa's bathroom freestyle battle raps, how was that for you? Did you try a little freestyle battling yourself?
I used to do freestyle battling in the bathroom. So when I seen her doing it, I was like, oh my God, I'm not the only one. I just felt like I felt this was like the first time in like my adulthood, I felt connected to a piece that I was watching the way I connected to Insecure.
So Issa's freestyle battle raps in the bathroom, in the mirror to herself, that was more like an empowerment speech. I felt like, okay, she had to egg herself on, big herself up, like, all right, Issa, you got this, girl, you got this, girl. And that's like all of us saying that in our heads right before something happens, right before a big event. When we have to uplift ourselves, I feel like her battle raps, her freestyles weren't just like her being silly and crazy, but it was a part of her shenanigans. Let's admit, like we were like, Issa, come on, girl,
I loved it. I love the fact that there were small elements of Aqua Black Girl in Insecure, and we took the angst that a lot of this is Cosmo. He wanted to make a cameo. I love the fact that some of the angst that we all have as like young professionals, which now we're expected to be the old heads, and it's kind of like, wait, what? Right. Wait, what? I don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing. And in my late 20s, I don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing here. So a lot of that was put into the script and then the scenarios, and there was a lot of messiness. The freestyle battles, I am not a freestyler, but I do sing in the bathroom. I get it in the bathroom in the mirror with the vocals. They're terrible, but I have Jesus loves, like, yes. That's it, though. Nobody else loves my voice.
Oh, my God. We all can relate to that, singing in the bathroom shower. We sound like Whitney Houston. I know.
Everyone sounds like
I
Whitney
sound like
Houston in
Whitney.
a
Yes,
Killing
exactly.
it, killing it. All of it, killing it.
So another highlight of the show was the couch montage. So there were a lot of important events that happened on the couch. Issa and Lawrence's fighting. I guess just Lawrence's depression. I felt like we went through the relationship with them on that couch. You understand what I'm saying? Since season 1. Do you have like any memories from the couch?
Our own couch or their couch? Like.
from Issa's and Lawrence's couch. You remember they actually included that in the show where it was just a number of sequences of events that happened throughout their relationship, and like happy times, and then they went to, sadder times. I remember, just feeling so happy for them and hoping for the best. And then I remember seeing when they were breaking up and having those real life discussions that we would have in our own relationships, So, and, Issa's daydreaming, that was another highlight. Kelly making us laugh.
Right.
I mean, that was just pretty crazy. Do you remember the daydream of when Issa put the painting, she's like smashed the painting over the girl's head? Okay. And then like Issa's daydreaming about what could have been with her and Lawrence. That was like really, really thoughtful.
Right. With the kid, right? They had a kid at a point during this montage.
Like what could have been? The marriage, the baby. What could have been? So as far as relatability, right, goes, who does this where they are thinking about quitting their job without a plan B, but it's just more like, you know what, I'm fed up, F it. So Issa is relatable in that sense where she does things without thinking about it. And sometimes we're like side-eyeing her, but then we're rooting for her. Like, can you relate to that in any way?
Absolutely. Yeah. I just did that.
What? Yes, congratulations. You get all the jazz hands. You get all the spirit fingers. Yes.
So like at Issa's job, right? She was like the token, well, she felt like she was being considered the token Black person. So what do you have to say to issues like that? Because they looked to her and her opinions when it came to certain issues, but they didn't want to hire enough Black people. And she actually brought that up to her manager. And her manager was like kind of brushed it off, and was like, okay, but isn't so-and-so possibly colored? But Issa did bring up some important facts like at her job that I feel like some of us go through with being the token Black person and like wanting the company to hire more people of color to represent and instead of just assuming what the needs are.
Absolutely. I think that that's something that, we face even in 2021. It's a problem, to have people assume that we are a monolith as Black and brown people. And we all like the same thing. And you can have these incredibly racist or sexist ideas. And then as long as it's greenlit by your Black person, you're good to go. I think that we all still experience that. And so that was definitely a relatable component of Insecure through the throughput. So.
Like, do you think that was a smart decision for Issa to just quit her job like that? And then what did she work for? She started her own little business afterwards.
Right.
I mean, that led to,
It probably wasn't like the best, but I feel like when you throw yourself to the wind like that, you usually land on your feet. And sometimes I feel like life is about taking risks, and you've seen the risk worked out for her. At the end, she ended up, she found that job. I think she was the manager of the apartments, right? Like landlady. And then she also went on to do that big festival block party thing that she was like dreaming of doing. And she probably wouldn't have done that if she didn't step away. So I feel like when you leave, you kind of push yourself to do the things that you never thought you would do once you like take that risk. That leap of faith?
Yeah, I think it's about calculated risks. There's never going to be a great time to follow your passion and to do things that are like super important to you. There's never going to be a great time to say, oh, I want to go start this business. So, I mean, I commend her. I think that's a part of this generation. Like we're not status quo or like, and I think Insecure did a really good job of highlighting some of the things that we are experiencing as a group, you know, like, why am I going into the office? And no, like why am I doing this? Why do I have to settle for this because everyone else did? So
especially during this pandemic, in the midst of the pandemic, we are now realizing more than ever that we don't have time to sit around and live out someone else's dream. We need to figure out what we want to do and go ahead and pursue that. If you fail, so be it. And for those listening, you need to find something that you want to dedicate yourself towards and that you really love and pursue it. Why not? What's the worst that could happen? You fail, so what? Okay. So, you know, something else that caught my eye. All right. So Issa, she created the whole Black Party event, but she needed Molly's help with that. And I believe Molly told her to not use the resources that Issa needed, but Issa went behind Molly's back and actually asked for help through Andrew, I believe. So what do you think about that? Like, was Issa wrong for doing that? Was Molly wrong for not letting her friend, you know, succeed because all her friend needed was that help from that person? I remember feeling at the time I was a little on Molly's side with this because you're going behind my back and asking, and you know, Andrew for connections that you said you needed to do this on your own, but really you're using my resources. But that's like a little bit of selfish thinking. Maybe Issa could have went about it differently. But actually, she did ask her, and Molly said no, that she doesn't want to get involved. So, what do you think? Did Issa do the right thing to get in order to get the goal that she set, right? In order to get that to happen, did she jeopardize the friendship by like going behind Issa's back? You know, Issa said she didn't want to be involved. What?
Well, I absolutely think that Issa did the right thing because she doesn't own Andrew. Molly doesn't own Andrew. Like, and if she got the contact, I think she's just being polite by asking Molly if she can ask Andrew for her. But in reality, if she was like recruiting talent, she would have to reach out to whoever it was. So whoever she needed to reach out to. So I think she was actually being polite. But then when she told her no, she wasn't going to help her, she already had his contact. So she just asked for herself.
Oh, I think that it's not so cut and dry about who's right and who's wrong because it's such a layered discussion. It's such a layered thing. You know, Issa can be really messy and Molly can also, like, the dynamic between them is also really interesting because they have a leader, follower, or one who is more successful and one who is not traditionally. And so when that balance is upset, it probably stirred up some feelings in Molly. But at the same time,
right.
Like, I think that they were both, I don't feel so cut and dry about who was right or who was wrong in the situation, you know, because Issa, if she's on this thing about like trusting herself and like doing what she needs to do to be successful and taking risks, then that includes doing what she has to do to get the context that she needs to move forward with whatever it is that her goal is. Molly, though, I get her too, because, you know, her friend does not come through sometimes. Her friend be on that BS sometimes. Her friend, you know, can be very messy. And if this is a guy that she likes, what if something were to go wrong? Like, what if something went wrong? And then Molly is in the middle of Andrew and Issa. That BS. So I get it. Like, it's not easy. It's not an easy, like, this was right and this is wrong. The same thing between Team Issa and Team Lawrence. You know, it's not cut and dry, like who was right and who was wrong, even though there's morality at play, even though there's like feelings involved. It's not cut and dry.
Yeah, there's no Team Lawrence, Team Issa, but definitely no Team Condola.
No,
I don't understand why everybody is so mad at her. Like, I to this day don't understand that. Like, she was a person who was not in the middle of the drama between Issa and Lawrence. She wasn't there. She developed a relationship outside. It's not like they cheated. It's not like she got pregnant on purpose.
She was using him as a rebound.
So
and
people do that all the time. People do that.
But now
so
she's
I don't think she intentionally got pregnant. She didn't say, let me get pregnant.
But now she's having a permanent, she's making a permanent decision to like have this baby baby with someone that she didn't even consider long term.
Yeah,
So it's
but
kind
I
of
think
weird. Like I just feel like we don't know what her motives are. I don't really trust her. I don't really know what she's about. I just feel like she wants a baby and she's just gonna use Lawrence to have a baby.
I think that
I don't know.
I think the way the Condola is written in the show, it just makes us, some viewers just hate her face when we see it.
but
The way that they wrote Condola in the show is just like she represents the woman that has taken the love of your life, even though she didn't steal him. And
Right.
like you said, she is pregnant, but that has nothing to do with Issa and Lawrence. That is not her fault. But we, as the viewers, desperately want to see Lawrence and Issa have another chance. And speaking of another chance, do you think Lawrence overreacted about Issa's cheating because he was stuck in this depression and he did not do some of the things that Issa expected him to do, and she wasn't happy and went outside the relationship, which was wrong? Like, do you think that whole situation and then Condola being put in the middle of it, like maybe that has something to do with why the viewers like, hey, Condola, the show is so well written in that sense that it's doing its job with that. But like, do you think that Lawrence should have just forgave Issa, like let them work on a relationship, but then it wouldn't have been a show, right? It wouldn't have been a good
Right.
show.
I think they needed the space. I think that the relationship needed an opportunity to breathe. They needed to grow. I'm just not on this. I feel that I want Issa and Lawrence back together. They've grown. They at the end of season 4, they're getting it together. They found that groove again. But I'm not on this train of hating Condola because now she's pregnant. I think that she could not want a baby all day, right? She could have like not really, he could have been the rebound. But when you're faced with pregnancy, it's not that cut and dry to say, well, I didn't want him, but now I'm in a situation, and so I'm gonna F up his life. Like I don't see it like that. I don't think that, her making a permanent decision is something that she's doing to spite anyone. I think that
Oh
she
no,
now
not
with the, I don't see her as the bad guy. I think it's unfortunate and it sucks, for what we want as the audience and what Issa wants to be with Lawrence, but I don't think that Condola is the bad guy. I don't hate her. I'd be like, oh, crap. You know what I mean? Like I feel, to your question though, who's wrong or who's right, or what do we think about Lawrence and Issa? That's another one I think is like really brilliant writing with respect to the nuances that go into it. Like what do you do when your partner is clinically depressed and you're the one holding everything and you don't feel like a woman, whatever that means. You don't feel like taken care of, so you find it elsewhere and then you're the bad guy, like,
right.
What do you do? What do you do?
I think they're both wrong though. I do think that she should have communicated probably that she was at her breaking point instead of just stepping out. And I think that maybe he could have been more compassionate towards her because of the situation. Like I feel like it was just both wrong, both not wrong. Like because in relationships, like we have to communicate and we feed off of each other. So if one part you like cheating is not the only thing that's bad in relationships. Like if you're not, didn't he forget her birthday? He forgot her birthday. He just wasn't being attentive. Like he kind of, I'm not going to say deserved it, but it's like, come on, if you're not doing all of these things, she's going to look elsewhere for it. But it's her duty to be honest with him. She should have like been upfront, like, I'm at this place, I don't think I could do this anymore, instead of like creating that whole entire rift between them.
I just feel like we didn't like anyone who Lawrence ended up rebounding with. Like the viewers, we were just like, oh, this person, that person, oh no, So it was like, from the woman's point of view, yeah, we from the woman's point of view, it's like we usually see the guys mess up all the time, and then they have to try to make it up to the woman. But really, we're actually seeing the woman how she is and how she's, not. She has flaws. Issa has flaws, and she did something wrong, yes, but we're just still hopeful for her. And then also, do you feel like, I didn't realize this in the first few seasons, maybe season 1 and season 2. But since like Molly brung it up, like how inconsistent Issa is, she brought it up in season 4, like how inconsistent she is, like how she's not stable. I didn't see Molly as that really. I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't see Issa as that really. Like, oh, she's unstable. Is she toxic?
I think it's more about Issa's passiveness and not taking action in her life. And I think that can be seen as inconsistent. If you say that you want these things, but you're not willing to do what's necessary to get them, and you're just kind of letting life happen to you, I think there's like a sense of inconsistency in that. And that's what, in my opinion, Molly was saying. Because it's like, now, you know, you want to do something. Now you know, like, what about the last 20 years? You have done nothing. But now all of a sudden you want to do all these things, and I'm supposed to be just on board.
And that speaks to the dynamic of the different lifestyles also, the diversity in the lifestyles of the friends, like Tiffany and Kelly and then Molly, you know, they all basically have stable jobs except for Issa. And like that shows in also the personality. Okay, Kelly's really funny. Tiffany's like the bougie one. Okay. Do you have like any favorite characters?
I love Kelly. Like I do. I love Kelly.
Do you remember the Coachella episode when Kelly got tased?
Oh,
that was crazy. What was her phrase? Don't remember me like this, right? What was that phrase? That was so crazy. Oh.
I love Kelly. Yeah, there's I think, you know, all of the characters are relatable in some way, you know, because we all have that. You know, we all have that.
Yeah.
My favorite is Issa.
Yeah, Issa. Okay, I could see that. I could definitely understand that.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere. And just growing up the way I grew up, and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
This is Jaina, Into the Future. Do you remember back when I was in 7th grade? Anything that I would do, she would make fun of me, she would laugh at me, she would talk to her friends and whisper. I grew up to be more independent and love myself and just be a little bit more confident.
Aw, I'm like a little tearing up right now.
Like, so what do you think about Issa and Nathan possibly getting back together long term? Are you for it?
No. No, not if he's gonna be disappearing like that.
Right.
No, because she would need someone more grounded. They can't both be just all over the place. There has to be some type of balance. Like, see, Lawrence was like, he grounded her.
But he was alone. Lawrence was alone. Like, I can understand the lack of interest. You with somebody for 5 years and they are not, you know, and you're doing everything. Like, I can understand that. Nathan, that's another situation. And I really give my hat, like, tip my hat to Larry Wilmore and Issa and the writing team and Natasha Rothwell and all of them, because that's another situation that who's right and who's wrong. And Nathan didn't just disappear. He was dealing with some mental health issues. And one could say, yeah, he could have communicated that, but maybe it's not so easy. Like, Lawrence was unable to communicate that he was going through depression. You know, he didn't realize at the time that's what he was dealing with. And then Issa to not understand that that's what was happening, and then to be like,
I like that the show. I like that the show touches on men and depression, and they have feelings too. That's very important for us to understand. And I wanted to know: are you guys looking forward to seeing something this upcoming season? Are you looking forward to seeing something one last time, or just hopeful that this or that may happen, like this last season? What do you think?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, this is slipping my mind right now. Who did she cheat with?
Tiffany?
Oh my God.
Oh,
No.
Daniel?
Daniel. I want
Yes.
Daniel to make an appearance. I want there to be some
Oh my
Daniel
God,
action.
why?
Absolutely.
Okay.
If
We'll
I had,
see.
let me clutch my pearls because yes, that is one. Yes, yes. I want to see more rapping in the mirror. I want to see something that I feel like we didn't really get into. What is her name? What's our bougie friend's name?
Tiffany.
Tiffany, like what's really going on between her and her husband and whether or not she connected to the baby and postpartum depression. I feel like they touched on it, but I want to see more of what we're doing to overcome Tiffany's postpartum depression, which it seems like she has.
I think that's important. And I think that maybe they have more scenes that they just couldn't even fit in. And hopefully this season they will touch on the depression, the postpartum, because that's happening, especially during the pandemic. Do you know how many pandemic babies I've seen? Okay. So mothers are going through it, families are going through it, and we need something to relate to. But as usual, we always find something to relate to about Issa and all of her friends. I mean, even the music is like outstanding. Like every time I saw an episode, I was like, okay, let me look on, Google. Let me see who's this artist. Like the music just hit on topic each time. You know what I mean? So I just like to say, I just hope to see Issa and Lawrence end up together. And I'm hoping maybe someone else is the father of Condola's baby.
Right. That would be interesting.
I don't know. That would be an interesting plot twist. Yeah. I want to see more. Do you want to see Molly and Issa repair their friendship or what?
Yes, absolutely. They've had such a good long friendship, and I feel like with friendships, like people grow and people change. But when it goes all the way back like they did, and they've been through so much, I think it's worth holding on to, worth fixing.
I like to see because of their long history and their like dedication to one another. I like to see them patch things up. I think that because they're unequal in the income level bracket, and Issa's trying to grow, I think that there's a little pushback there, and that's what that's about. And I hope to see Issa continue to evolve, just like many of us need to evolve, And I wanted to know, do you guys have any closing remarks? Where can everyone find you at?
My closing remarks is, besides where you can find me, I cannot wait for this new season. I cannot wait. And you can find me on all social platforms. My name is Katie Superville as seen. You can find me on my website, and you can find my music. I have music on every music platform. And thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. You can find me on Instagram at DevinNikki4. You can find me on Snap, TikTok. You can also follow my sketch comedy series on sketchlingscomedy.com or at my website, DevinNikkiThomas.com. Thanks so much.
Yes, and I want to thank the audience for joining us this episode on the De'Ara Show. I had so much fun discussing HBO's Insecure, and I hope to watch it and be happy with what I'm seeing, and Issa better end up with Lawrence. Anyways, thank you all, and join me next time on the De'Ara Show.
Ain't no living life semi-pseudo. Ain't no living life semi-pseudo. We going out tonight, when my, ain't no bedtime. You